73 long years have passed since thousands of nomadic riders flooded the eastern borders of Persia, defeated the Persian army, and killed the Shah himself. The invaders plunged deep into the heartland of the empire. The weakened Persians had no choice but to give in to the outrageous demands of tribute imposed by the White Huns. Now Khosrau, the grandson of the slain Shah, is ready to take revenge for the eternal shame cast upon his empire. Persian heralds visit the four corners of the empire to gather one of the largest armies this world has ever seen. But even with an army that could fill the space between the Zagros and the Alborz mountain ranges, the White Hunnic horse archers will not be easily beaten. Khosrau knows that perhaps the only way to ensure victory is to ally with another nomadic people, the Gökturks. These nomads from lands hardly touched by civilization hate the White Huns as much as the Persians do. They are as tough and hardy as the White Huns, and most importantly, can strike the Huns from their rear. The earth trembles as thousands of Persian horses and elephants travel to battle. Khosrau will soon show the world that the Persian Empire is still a force to be reckoned with.
Those vile White Huns will bleed us dry with their excessive demands. We must bide our time for now, but we will crush them once Khosrau arrives.
Welcome to Khorasan. Follow me. I will lead you down this mountain pass. We can construct a small base here and collect the resources to pay off the White Huns until Khosrau arrives with his army. The Persian villages can provide you with resources, but beware of White Hunnic raiders.
The Persian army under Khosrau has arrived. We will show these White Huns the cost of meddling with the Persian Empire.
My elephant cannot wait to trample some White Huns.
Persians, we share a common enemy. Perhaps you would be interested in a temporary alliance against the White Huns. So, an alliance it is? Very well. Just do not get in our way.
The true backbone of the Persian army is its heavy cavalry. We can hire these men for 1,500 gold.
We will crush all enemies of the Persians.
With our main rivals, the White Huns, weakened, it is time that we take what is rightfully ours. Defeated our fierce cavalry archers? Very well. We will keep our promise and retreat behind the Oxus River.
This is all that we can spare.
Retreat! Leave everything behind! We have finally rid ourselves of these hefty tribute demands. the Persian Empire can prosper once more.
The White Huns were powerful, but too disorganized to cope with multiple invasions. When the Persians and their Turkic allies launched a two-pronged attack, the White Huns panicked. The mighty Persian beasts of war and swift, accurate Turkish horse archers crushed the disorientated enemy within 8 days. After the Persian victory at Bukhara, the White Huns faded into history, and the Gökturks and Persians divided the conquered land among themselves. Under Khosrau, Persia once more became a worthy rival of the Byzantine Empire, while the Turks established themselves in the vacuum left by the White Huns. Hidden in the dense jungle of the Yucatan, the Mayan civilization thrives. Massive stone pyramids carved with images of gods and kings tower above the sea of green vegetation. The Yucatan is dominated by two city-states, Tikal and Calakmul. Competing for control of the rich trade routes throughout the peninsula, the two cities have warred with each other for as long as anyone can remember. To secure the jade and cacao trade, Tikal founded the city of Dos Pilas. Now the old king of Tikal sends his youngest son, Balazs Chan Kawil, to rule it, while his oldest son will rule Tikal itself. Balazs, however, is not happy with his small inheritance. The god of war plants seeds of resentment and hate in him, and Balazs is convinced that he would be a better ruler of Tikal than his brother.
We're losing the ford! Quickly, retreat to those Pilas and warn its citizens! Warriors from Calakmul have defeated our army. They will soon be on their way to our town. To arms! There are 5 small camps of raiders in the area. Destroy them! We must show them who rules the Yucatan. All camps have been destroyed. Aichoikak, the god of war, will be satisfied.
Hereby claim the city of Dos Pilas for the almighty city of Calakmul. Join us or die.
We fight for Calakmul from now on. There is a small village situated to the west of us that is currently occupied by raiders. If we liberate this village, it will support our war effort. The village has been liberated. Now we will be able to trade at its market. There is a Tikalian fortress situated on a cliff to the south of Waksaktun. We should destroy it immediately.
Thessalian fortress has been destroyed! To the northeast lies the city of Naranjo, an ally of Tikal. If we take it, Tikal's eastern gates will be vulnerable to attacks. Tikal is burning! Victory is ours!
After years of conflict, the war god's thirst for blood was satisfied. Balaj, having betrayed his father and brother and sacked the city he held dear, was plagued by guilt. Despite his victory, he relinquished his claim on Tikal and instead returned to Dos Pilas, where he spent the remainder of his days. Later, Tikal was rebuilt, and it finally overcame its rival Calakmul. However, it never truly recovered from the betrayal of one of its dearest sons, and the Mayan civilization steadily declined. Shouts of assent ring around the hall as the sons of Ragnar finish speaking, and ravens fly upwards, eager to bring good tidings to the Aesir. Moments later, the sky flashes with lightning and booms with thunder, signaling the approval of the gods. Days later, the mustering begins. Kings, jarls, warriors, and common folk alike gather, eager to seek vengeance on the Northumbrian king Isla for the dishonorable slaying of Ragnar. Ivar, one of Ragnar's sons, has sworn to carve the blood eagle on Isla in retribution. It is a sight to behold. Hundreds of longships bear crews of valiant Norsemen and enough supplies to last the army months. The Valkyries look on, for they will soon swell Odin's hall with brave warriors who fall in the coming battles. Ragnar's sons approach a small band of warriors with a dangerous but important quest: to scout the British Isles and establish a camp. When the army arrives, it will need a secure base from which to strike out against the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms that dominate the British mainland. Thor is pleased, for the seas are benign and the winds favorable, allowing the longships a serene passage across the North Sea. As they near York, the seat of Northumbria, the sound of the sea mingles with the grinding of axes. Skalds eagerly prepare to craft the verses for a saga that will be passed down until the end of time.
There lies our target, the fortified city of York. We must find a safe location to land, and wait for the rest of our mighty brethren to arrive before we seek Valhalla together.
My lord, we have scouted the British Isles. Far-seeing Odin has showed us several sites where we can strike our tents.
Let us make haste and disembark. Our presence must go unnoticed, for now. Skoll! Our camp is complete. Quickly, muster a force. Soon the sails of our brothers will draw near, and we will wet our axes with Saxon blood.
Hark! Look to the sea. Thor and Jord favor us, for our army has arrived. Praise upon the Aesir! Our victory is complete!
Favored by Odin and Thor, the Vikings watered the ground with the blood of their enemies, seizing vast amounts of plunder and fertile land. The stench of smoke and death filled the air as hapless victims foolishly turned to their altars instead of their swords. The haughty Anglo-Saxons met their match at the hands of ruthless Viking warriors, eager to earn their place at Odin's table. True to their word, Ragnar's sons carved the blood eagle into the back of the cowardly Ayla as a warning to any who might think of opposing them. Ragnar's sons settled the land that they had conquered, eventually establishing a state known as the Danelaw. For the next 2 centuries, Dane and Saxon would live as neighbors, sometimes at war, sometimes in peace, until the Saxon victory over the Norse at Stamford Bridge in 1066 foiled the last Viking invasion of England. Throughout Europe, church bells ring while screams and the smell of burning wood fill the air. Everybody knows of the terror of the Vikings and their feared longships, but those who dwell inland face another horror. Maiar horsemen strike deep into the European heartland, raiding, plundering, and killing without distinction. These nomadic pagans come from far to the east, where they were driven out from their homelands by their aggressive neighbors. Now they have arrived in Europe, and their lightning-quick raids terrify the locals. The rulers of Europe are powerless to stop these swift-mounted marauders. Raiding, however successful, cannot sustain the Maya tribes forever, and they are ready to settle down. Scouts have found a suitable location to the south, large open grasslands, similar to the steppes of the Mayas' ancestral home, lie within the Carpathian Basin. Only the eastern Franks, Moravians, and Bulgarians stand in their way. If the Mayas can defeat them, the tribes will once again have a land to call their own.
We are the 10 arrows that will strike Europe! We will take this land by force! These Avars were like us once, but they grew soft and weak from the plunder that they gained. A wise lesson is to be learned. We spotted a Byzantine encampment to the east. They may have something to offer us.
Our Emperor is prepared to pay you 2,000 gold if you declare war on the Bulgarians. On top of that, he will pay you 500 gold for every Bulgarian fortification that you destroy.
Our nomadic days are over. We will no longer benefit from our old ways. This land belongs to our people now, and Europe is open for us to plunder.
The Maya horsemen annihilated the Frankish army and utterly destroyed the empire of Great Moravia. After centuries of wandering the steppes, they could finally settle down to create their own kingdom. Many, however, rejected the thought of exchanging their bows for plows. Not until Otto the Great, founder of the Holy Roman Empire, defeated them at the Battle of Lakefell, did the Maya raids finally come to an end. After this defeat, the Maya nomads adopted European ways, converted to the Christian faith, and transformed into farmers. They founded the Kingdom of Hungary, whose army was famed for its combined elements of nomadic horsemen and heavy cavalry. For centuries, Hungary would stand firm as the frontier stronghold of Europe, resisting invaders from the east, invaders much like the first Maya raiders who ventured into Europe. Gliding through the trees, the wind whispers a faint melody to the rhythm of the footsteps of soldiers. The narrow mountain pass feels ominous and forbidding, and yet there is a peaceful aura to it that calms Minamoto's vanguard. The common soldiers groan as a deluge suddenly begins, transforming the soil into a treacherous sea of mud. The battle-hardened samurai alone are silent. Their honor is their prime concern, and it rests on the success of their mission to deliver supplies to the besieged city of Kurikara. After years of injustice, the Minamoto clan declared open opposition to the dominance of the wicked Taira, splitting Japan in two. Lord Minamoto controls the east, while his cousin, Yoshinaka, holds the frontier. Throughout 2.5 years of war, the Taira have steadily advanced, rarely seeing defeat. Their armies strike at Kurikara in a three-pronged assault, while an auxiliary force seizes the lighthouse at the point of the Noto Peninsula, controlling naval passage in and out of the Toyama Gulf. Entourages of samurai patrol all roads to Kurikara, and enemy supply lines reach all the way to Kyoto, the imperial capital. This will be the decisive battle of this war. If Kurikara falls, the Taira will be free to flood into the Minamoto heartland and claim victory. If Kurikara holds and the Taira are defeated, the tide will turn, and Minamoto may even be able to bring the fight to the gates of Kyoto.
The road to Kurikara is well guarded. We must be swift and elusive if we are to reach the city alive.
Many thanks for the supplies. We are barely holding out. What news from Minamoto?
Minamoto promises to send help over the mountains, but is currently occupied with a rebellion. We are sent to aid in the defense of the city.
Very well. We will do the best that we can. Take over defense of the city.
Hurry, men! To the defenses! Defend Kurikara with honor! My lord, we wish to sail around the northern peninsula, but are unable to do so due to the treacherous rocks. If we capture the lighthouse, then our ships would be able to pass safely. We have slain Taira no Kiyofusa. The lighthouse is ours. Now we can sail through. I wish to make war on the Taira, but I do not have the proper weaponry. If you bring me 2 trebuchets, I will commit to this war. We fight with the Minamoto clan! We are nearing the enemy capital of Kyoto. It is far too well defended to attack before we have defeated the Taira armies in the field. Taira armies are defeated and their princes slain.
May the world quake and the Taira fools tremble before the might of my army. It is time to take the battle to the Taira heartland. We march on Kyoto!
Minamoto-sama, Taira no Kiyomori is dead, and Kyoto is ours!
Thunder boomed as spears of lightning pierced the sky. Driven back from the walls of Kurikara, the Taira army retreated in panic as Minamoto claimed victory after victory. Smoke rose from the enemy camps and floated towards Kyoto, an ominous shadow of the doom approaching those inside the city. Offering thanks and prayers to the gods, Minamoto halted and made camp outside Kyoto. Siege engines pounded the walls for days, reducing its great castles to piles of rubble. As the main gate fell, samurai poured into the city, while Minamoto strode triumphantly to the imperial palace and planted his banner. With the power of the Taira broken and their capital taken, a seemingly doomed rebellion had triumphed. It would take 2 more long years, but Minamoto's prowess as a commander ensured victory at the Battle of Danoura, ending the Genpei War and ushering in the new era of the Kamakura Shogunate. Deus Lavolt! God wills it! This zealous shout resounds throughout Europe as news spreads of a 3rd crusade, called by the Pope himself. 3 of Europe's most renowned rulers have sworn to fight. Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire, Philip Augustus of France, and Richard the Lionheart, King of England. While the Emperor Barbarossa marches his army across Europe, the kings of France and England sail to the Holy Land. Richard's journey, however, is as adventurous as one can expect of someone known as the Lionheart. A Mediterranean storm scatters the English fleet and shipwrecks many of Richard's ships on the island of Cyprus. The island's ruler and rebellious Byzantine lord, Isaac Komnenos, has taken the stranded English prisoner. Among the captured is Richard's very own sister. Richard is determined to punish Komnenos for this insult, but he also sees opportunity in these unfortunate events. Cyprus is an island of great strategic value. If the English can capture it, Cyprus could be used as a naval base for the crusade and raids on the wealthy Muslim trade ships.
The usurper Isaac Komnenos has imprisoned my sister in Nicosia. We will be revenged for this insult. The inhabitants of Cyprus will quake with fear once we have landed.
The English have landed. I must gather my soldiers.
Isaac Komnenos' main army will attack us soon. We must conquer a base as quickly as possible.
Stop this carnage! We surrender! Just spare our families!
The fortress in Isaac's harbour lies in ruin. We plundered much booty.
Cyprus is ours! Clap Isak in iron so that he will not be able to wreak havoc ever again.
Richard's combined naval and land operations proved to be successful, and Cyprus was swiftly taken by the Crusaders. Isaac was thrown into the dungeons, and Richard crowned himself king of the island. Richard then sailed east to resume his crusade. Upon his arrival in the Holy Land, however, Richard discovered that he alone remained to lead the crusade. Barbarossa had drowned crossing an Anatolian river, and Philip Augustus had returned to France with an illness. Despite these setbacks, Richard proved more than capable of the task ahead, matching wits with the famed Saladin. Richard is remembered as a brave warrior, a skilled commander, and a righteous king, renowned for his patronage of poetry as well as his martial exploits. He remains the ideal of the romantic chivalric knight, and an iconic figure in both England and France. As the Mongols descend on the Near East, the Turkish Sultanate of Rum is on its last legs and will likely soon crumble. Several Turkish chiefs in Anatolia, called Beys, are ready to seize the Sultan's lands. Their warriors are hardy and fierce, untamed by the niceties of the Rum court. Once the Sultanate is theirs, nothing will stop their further expansion west into Byzantine lands. The most fierce of the Turkish Beys is Osman, the Bone Breaker, a reputable man who claims to have been given the authority to rule over the world by God himself. He is determined to unite the Turks against their common enemies. Facing Osman is the proclaimed savior of the Byzantine Empire, Roger de Flor, a former Knight Templar and commander of the Catalan Company of Mercenaries. Years of service fighting for the lords and princes of Europe have made him and his soldiers hardened veterans. The future of Europe and the Middle East will be decided by the outcome of the battle between these two great men.
The Rum Sultanate is doomed. We will ride with you, Osman.
These villagers will do our bidding. The Byzantine cities are well fortified, but their army is not as strong as it once was. Fighting this many enemies might prove fatal for us, Osman. I suggest that you form an alliance with one of the other Turkish beys to improve our situation.
Thank you for your sign of trust. Let us ride out together.
We should deal with our other Turkish rivals. There can be only one to rule over the Anatolian Turks. The Byzantines need my help taking care of these infidel Turks. Very well, Osman. My blade and I wait for you.
cause us nothing but trouble. At least we will be safe behind our mighty walls of Constantinople.
The Byzantines betrayed us. You can have Anatolia, Turks. We are going home.
We have destroyed all of our enemies. Anatolia now belongs to the Ottoman Turks.
Roger de Flor proved to be a match for Osman. He managed to defeat Turkish armies on several occasions and almost drove them out of Anatolia. Just as de Flor neared his greatest victory, he was betrayed. The jealous Byzantine nobles, fearing that de Flor would take the reconquered lands for himself, ordered his assassination. In retaliation, de Flor's Catalan company ravaged Byzantine Anatolia and Greece before returning home with the body of their esteemed commander. With de Flor finally gone, Osman could complete his conquests and consolidate his power. The other Turkish beys soon acknowledged his rule, and he founded his own empire that would bear his name, Osmanli Devleti, the Ottoman Empire. In the distance, wooden towers as tall as giants take shape in the dense morning fog that hovers over the vast Poyang lake. These wooden islands, each carrying 2,000 or 3,000 men and horses, are tall enough to scale city walls. Their target is the Ming city of Nanchang. The Mongol Yuan dynasty is on the verge of collapse, and Chinese warlords are eager to take its place. The Han want to make use of the fighting between their rivals, the Ming and the Wu, to launch a surprise attack on the Ming and seize the Yangtze region from them. The Ming, however, are not prepared to surrender Nanchang so easily, and their army sails north to face the Han. The Ming general, Zhu Yuanzhang, is outnumbered, but he is determined to thwart the Han ambitions. After all, only one warlord can rule China.
We have almost reached Lake Poyang. Our shipments for the construction of the Great Temple in Nanchang will be here shortly as well.
Watch out, Admiral! The enemy navy is blocking the passage ahead!
No worries. We will blast their ships into 1,000,000 pieces.
A transport ship with the finest lumber in the region has arrived in the bay. We must protect it at all costs, so that it can reach the construction site safely. The first shipment has arrived at the temple. We must make haste and clear a way for the next shipment. The Nanchang garrison has turned over the city to us. Let us make sure that the temple construction site is secure.
The only god that we worship is the god of wealth. Pay us 2,000 gold, and we will attack the Han for you. Ha! Such shiny gold truly can make a pirate's heart beat faster. Very well. We will sink the Han ships for you.
We have all the building materials required to construct the temple.
So, you think that you can build a temple while we stand idle? Think again!
The temple is built. We have acquired the divine favor of the gods, and the Han will submit to Ming rule.
Although vastly outnumbered by the large Han tower ships, the smaller and more maneuverable Ming vessels were better suited for the shallow water. During the second night of the battle, the Ming launched a surprise attack with fire ships, which devastated many of the Han ships. Thousands of Han soldiers drowned or burned alive. The Ming victory secured their position as the strongest faction in China. In time, they conquered the Middle Kingdom, ending a century of Mongol domination. The new dynasty ruled China for nearly 3 centuries, ushering in a great age of prosperity and stability.